Ciao ragazzi, welcome along to another episode of JuveTalk. I've got my good buddy here, Antonio, and we're going to go through the news of the week. We're going to round that up, and then we'll get into some prep for Juve Bologna. We might touch a little bit on the Coppa Italia and get his take on that, how it went. First of all, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Thanks for having me back on. Always a pleasure.
Oh, absolutely, man. Yeah, so it's been a big week. Couple of breaking stories, couple of confirmed stories in the last couple of days. We had a Coppa Italia win, and I mean, where do we start? Today's is actually 22nd of May, and it's a big day. I've got my jersey on, and I remember it vaguely. I was a very young lad at that stage. I think I was 12. I was 12 exactly. I'm sure you remember it too, Antonio. Do you have any special memories of that day or the game or anything like that?
I remember it very well. I was actually 16 at the time.
16.
And I remember it. It was if my memory serves me correct, it may have been a Wednesday night. Back in the good old days with the Champions League finals during a week, and not the weekend. And see, I remember it well, and I was so nervous. I was running home from high school to get ready for the game. We had obviously family dinner with family members over, and to be honest with you, I wasn't very optimistic because Ajax were a fantastic football side.
They had been champions the previous year, so having beaten Milan,
they were a great side, and I thought that our run would come to an end in the final, but we played a phenomenal game, as I say, and I remember it when Vialli lifted that cup in Rome, as I say. So 25 years, it's a long time.
It is a long time. I remember it. I remember it pretty well myself. Myself and my dad used to watch a good lot of European football, and as you said, everything was Wednesday night. It was a nail-biting game, finished 1-1. I remember Ravanelli's goal, and it was like one of these ones where the ball seemed to take an age. It seemed like it took a half an hour to roll across and the line. And Ravanelli was probably my favorite player. When you're that age, you have favorite players. These days, that's all gone for me. I want the team to win, and that's it. But back then, it was Ravanelli and Vialli for me. They were gangsters, is what they were. They were excellent, and I suppose for you, with your Italian background, it was probably more of a family celebration, But for me, I was just watching it on TV.
Well, I don't know so much about that because I come from a long line of AC Milan fans. My full family are Milan fans, so my dad and I are the black sheep, as I say. So I wouldn't go that far because with family members present that night, and they were egging Ajax on big times, I say. So it was a pleasure to get the win and rub it in their face for once.
Yeah. Anyway, just moving on to, there's an image of it. I said I'd throw it up. I probably should have thrown it up first, but there it is. Anyway, Vialli. What a night. What else would I say? Del Piero posted something today on Instagram, I think, just a picture of him holding the cup. 22 Maggio 96 Finale Champions League. Went back when we were on top of Europe, on the roof of Europe, he says, which is it was great, and we were, I suppose we were dominant in Europe the whole way through the latter half of the 90s. But what else in the last couple of days? We've Juventus have let Douglas Costa go on a free, who was it? Mirko Di Natale got an interview with the vice president of Gremio today, and he asked him a few questions. But right down the end of the interview, he asked him, did Juventus look to get any option on some young stars that could be with Gremio, and the VP said no, Juventus didn't even ask us. So the deal, it looks to be, is Juventus Juventus get Costa off the wage bill basically for the year, because he's going on a year loan, and then he moves to them on a permanent deal. So we lose him on a free. I mean, what do you think about that? Could Juve have done anything more, or are you happy enough just to see him gone?
It's quite a hard one for me to answer, because I still think Douglas Costa is a fantastic football player. It's just a shame that injuries have caused him his career to go the way it has. Because I still say on his days he's almost unplayable. But I think, considering the circumstances, a dry loan till the end of the season where he's a free agent, I mean, you probably couldn't do any more, to be honest with you.
Absolutely. Probably at this stage of it, I don't think there was any option really to do anything. I think it had. I think Juve may have before, they may have tried to do a deal before he went to Bayern Munich, but it didn't work out. I think Costa at the time was looking for a bigger challenge, and maybe it just took him that little bit of time, even with Bayern, to realize, okay, my adventure in Europe is over, maybe. And that's look, that's just the way the cookie crumbles, unfortunately. What can I say? I mean, what else could we say? Agresti's reporting then as well that Juventus are working to renew Juan Cuadrado. How do you feel about that? Are you a big Cuadrado fan, or I know I certainly am.
Yeah, I'm the same. As I say, I think he's one of our most consistent players. I mean, his stats don't lie. He's been so influential in such a disappointing season. I think if we can tie him up, we've more or less sorted out one position, because obviously Danilo and Cuadrado gives you good cover at that right back position. Plus he can play obviously up top, or we've seen him out on the left. It may not be his best position, but he can also play advanced on the right or behind at right back, to say. But yeah, I would do that 100%. I think he's solid. He's certainly improved. Cuadrado, for me, previously, it was a roller coaster watching him. Sometimes he can be a bit all over the place, and he makes simple errors. He had a few the other night in the Coppa Italia final, but overall, he's been one of our best performers.
Yeah, 100%. I think he's got 19 assists in all competitions this year. So I mean,
ridiculous numbers.
Oh, it's unreal. I don't know the stats, but like someone correct me if I'm wrong, but like I can't remember the last time we had a player who had 19 assists in one season.
From right back, let's remember he's playing right back.
Right back for most of it, the vast majority of it. He's been unreal. He's crossing in particular.
Yeah.
Chelsea RMD, very welcome. What was I going to say? So yeah, I'd renew him. And for me, one of the things that I love about Cuadrado is like his willingness to be flexible. He started off as a winger, and then he's just he's said, no, okay, I don't care where you want to play me. Basically, he just seems like one of those guys. You can imagine him saying to the coach, I don't care, just put me there. He even played left back, and the guy does not have a left foot. He's like one of the most right-footed or single-footed players we have on our team. He just doesn't have it. And at the start of the season, and that didn't work out, but what a season he's had. Fantastic player.
I still think sorry, just to add to what you said there, Colin, I still think, I believe strongly that he's the best player in the league 1v1. He more or less goes past his player at will, almost, as I say. So, I mean, he's still relatively young, considering the age of modern day footballers, obviously with the diets, the nutritionists, the training they're doing. He's relatively young, and he is very fit. You actually pointed it out on a previous podcast that you and I done. He's incredibly fit. He's probably probably second to Ronaldo. He's probably one of the fittest guys in that side, and he's very rarely touched wood. He's very rarely injured, which is a big bonus.
Yeah, like it's good. I mean, his technical ability, like taking on his fullback, opposing fullback, 1v1. He seems to always be able to make room for that cross, you know.
Yeah, and that's important.
And that's why he's able to put good crosses in, you know. And,
absolutely.
That part of it is essential. So, I mean, what else was I going to say? So, yeah, that was great. I mean, moving on, we had Pirlo had another press conference today about the same level of interest I had anyway in it. I wasn't too bothered. Like, I was quickly looking for skimming for the details, and
you
know, there was one journalist, Fabiana Della Valle. She works with Gazzetta, and she was saying, hey, this is from Pirlo. She wasn't saying, sorry, I don't think the club decides my future based on the last game. They've already got an idea. And then she comments, Sarri said the same thing on the eve of Juve Lyon last year. You know, so I don't know, what do you say to that? Like, I mean, I kind of agree with him. I'm sure they don't decide it on one game, but the club has made statements. Paratici, Nedved, they've all made statements to say that look, if he gets to the Champions League, you know, we would consider that acceptable. You know, they've like the club, you know, regardless of what we as fans think for a second, you know, just looking at the club statements, that's what they've said. So it kind of does come down to one game, you know. But I mean, what else did he say? He talks about Danilo being the find of the season. He was the surprise for him. And I think he's you know, that goes for everybody else. Particularly the first half of the season, everybody was surprised by him, but he was excellent. But it seemed like, reading the press conference, the tweets, to me, it seemed like he was in season review mode already. And I was thinking to myself, hold on a minute, buddy, there's a game to go here yet. Like, you know, your season is going to be defined on what happens tomorrow. And I don't really want to hear about Ronaldo's kind of, he's focused, thanking Bonucci for all the help off the field, even though he didn't play in the Coppa Italia, things like that, you know. I mean, what do you think? I mean, I know you're of the same mind about the press conferences. Just skip on through it, please. Let me know who's injured, who's not. Actually, we do have one injury, and it came out after the press conference. Aaron Ramsey is missing. Is that a big surprise to you?
Do you know what? I won't even go into the whole Ramsey thing, because we could be here. I know we've only got limited time. We can discuss the topics, but if we go into the Ramsey topic, we'll be here till tomorrow morning. We covered it last time. The guy should have never been. He should have never been signed, regardless if it was a free transfer or not. As I say, it's just far too much money for a guy who has got previous with injuries. But we'll not go into it. In terms of what you said about Pirlo, I'm more or less in accordance with yourself. Regardless of what Pirlo says, I think it will come down to what happens tomorrow, and what tournament we'll be in going forward. Because I truly believe that if we make Champions League football, Pirlo's not the answer going forward. However, if we don't make Champions League football, we might have to just stick with them, because, well, for obvious reasons, we might not have the money there to address the problems we've got with the team, as I say. But it does depend on tomorrow. I don't really know what else he could have said yesterday. He's more or less forced to say that, to give that answer, because for obvious reasons he can't speak what's on his mind. He represents a club, and they tell him what to say and when to say it, as I say. But I think we all know that it's going to come down to what happens tomorrow.
Yeah, and even for me, it comes down to what happens with Zidane on Monday. So apparently Zidane is going to meet Perez after on Monday. Sorry, and he's going to give his word on his future. So I mean, I think if he says I'm leaving and he doesn't want to take the French job, that sets the carousel moving. You know, for me, like we've had, you know, he's obviously been strongly linked to Juventus. We've had people telling us he's definitely going to be there, and then other people saying no. And then we've had, you know, Madrid sources telling us that Zidane may want to stay. We've had everything, like, you know, we've had Allegri links all over the place as well. We've had, I mean, I reported one the other day about Allegri to Napoli. Do you know? This is funny now. This is in Tutto Sport. I covered it for the laugh. I was who was it? It was the mayor of Livorno was speaking to a Napoli news station, and he was saying, "Oh, I think the best possible move for Allegri is to go to Napoli." You know, what can you say to that?
I pay no attention to anything with the great respect to the Neapolitan people, but I pay no attention to anything that comes out of Napoli or anything associated with Napoli, because it's just ludicrous to believe some of the things that comes out.
Like, first of all, I mean, Aurelio De Laurentiis is a notorious, like, he's a nightmare to work for. Like, the guy, he's a lunatic. Like, he's fired coaches, and you know, he was putting Gattuso under fierce pressure all season, even though Gattuso is doing a great job, and he's been proven to be doing a great job. He's nearly got them into the Champions League, do you know? And they're having a very strong finish. I think they've got 4 wins out of the last 5 coming into the last game of the season. They're in a very, very, very strong position. They probably will make Champions League. And yet there was speculation that Eddie L was going to let him go, you know, back as far as January. And imagine working for that kind of a lunatic, especially when you've got Allegri's class and whatever. So I mean, someone else made a joke today on Twitter that, you know, apparently Allegri's going to be managing everybody next season. You know, it's like, which one do you believe? Sorry,
I think Allegri. There's no surprise that he's always wanted to manage in a foreign country. Even when he was the Juventus manager, he made he didn't hide it that he wanted to eventually manage in maybe a bigger club and a different competitive league, as I say. So I think Real Madrid will be top of his list. As I say, regardless of the reports that come out, as I say, I think if he's got a chance of being the Real Madrid manager, he'll bite the hand off. So we'll just need to wait to see what happens. Just touching on what you said about Rino Gattuso, as much as I love him, as much as I always wanted to see him as a Juventus player, he's probably in one of my top 10 lists of players that I wanted to see in a Juve jersey. I really hope he doesn't become the manager. And as I say, I didn't believe the reports coming out that he was linked to the Juventus job, but the more I'm seeing more and more each day now. And I'm starting to worry a bit. No disrespect to him at all. As I say, he's a legend. He's one of my all-time favourite non-Juve players, but I don't want him as a manager of my club.
I just have a fear around Gattuso that he might lose the head. Do you know what I mean?
It makes no sense. I don't see the sense in it.
It doesn't. Like, I'll be honest with you, outside of Allegri and Zidane, and you know, I'm just going to touch on this comment here as well. Like, I kind of agree. That's been my position, that if Allegri or Zidane are available, unfortunately, we've got to let Pirlo go. And under those circumstances, only for me, because it doesn't look so bad on Pirlo. Because, like, we have to think about Pirlo. Like, I mean, a lot of these issues that he's had to deal with are not his fault. They're just not his fault. So a guy that gets drafted in, and you know, you could potentially finish his career like at this point. Like, it could be, you know, no experience into a huge job, way out of his depth, and all of this crap happens, COVID, injuries, a lot of stuff. It could go on and on and on. So, you know, if you were only going to take Gattuso or you know, Inzaghi, who's been mentioned as well. You know, I mean, that looks bad. That looks really bad. But if it's Zidane or Allegri, that's a different story. That's a different caliber of manager. Those are proven winners at the top level. So for me, I agree with CRMD here.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the most logical. It's the most logical avenue, for word of a better term. As I say, if we can upgrade on Pirlo, if it's not Zidane or Allegri, then just stay with Pirlo, because everything else is just a risk, and you're not improving, you're not upgrading, you're just staying at the same level and restarting again. The one thing I will say, I'm Pirlo's biggest critic, as I say, because at the end of the day, he has took the job, and he'll be judged on the job he does. It's as simple as that, and I'm basing it on those facts and those facts only. But if you'd say to me at the start of the season that Pirlo would have won in his first season with all the circumstances, COVID, a new manager, so many injuries, that he would have won the Coppa Italia, the Supercoppa, and finished in the Champions League position, I probably would have been accepted it and been okay with it, as I say. So I'm probably being a little bit too harsh on him, but I just don't see going forward where we're going to improve with him unless we give him the players that he needs to obviously play this new style of football that he's trying to. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. It's going to be a roller coaster, so buckle up.
It is. It's going to be a massive roller coaster, and it's probably going to be the end of May when they have their board meeting with the holding group, and I'd say we won't even find out until after then. You know, so look at I mean, whatever's best for Juventus is what I want. You know, we can't have another season like this. We just can't. So I understand everybody's frustrations. I mean, what else? I mean, you watched the Coppa Italia, obviously. What did you think of the game?
I think it was a game of two halves. The first half, we were lucky to not concede. Kind of early on, Atalanta, I thought, were very dangerous. As I say, they always play the high press, and Juventus persist with playing out from the back. So the second half, I thought we came out and dominated. We almost played Atalanta at their own game, pressing them high up the pitch, making them obviously make errors, and obviously they were getting a bit more tired, as I say, so spaces would naturally open up. But I think all in looking back, watching the game now on a replay, I thought it was a very entertaining game for a neutral. As I say, and I was delighted to get the win, because a trophy is always a trophy, regardless whether it's Coppa Italia or not. I'm just happy to get a bit of tricolore on the strip for next year. Don't want to lose it all. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, a trophy's a trophy. We celebrate it, especially after a long, hard season. The idea that we could finish the season with one, another trophy, and two, the potential to be in the Champions League is kind of, you know, I feel like we've gotten away with it. Do you know what I mean? And but that's okay by me. I don't care how we do it. You know, just get there.
I've seen a lot of comments on Twitter, and I think I've got a theory of why I see certain comments. I've seen a lot of comments pre-Coppa Italia final where they were saying to just obviously voicing their opinion that we should rest players, we shouldn't bother with the Coppa Italia. If you're a Juventus fan, you win every single trophy. Every tournament you're participating in, you're there to win it. That's the Juventus way. That's the Juventus I know. So it blows my mind why people would say that. As I say, and the only thing I can think of, with the greatest respect, and I'm not being an ageist, but I think it's probably the younger generation who have been spoiled with win after win after win. Let's not forget, we've won 14 major trophies in 10 years and been to 2 Champions League finals. So they've maybe been a bit spoiled. The Coppa Italia shouldn't be snubbed at. As I say, they were just quite so. Just recently, as I say, we wouldn't even be competing for the Coppa Italia, but maybe these certain fans don't remember those times. So Juventus, any trophy, in any tournament we take part in, we're there to win it till the end. As I say, and I'm delighted that we won a major trophy, and it is a major trophy. It's one of it's obviously second to the Scudetto. It's the next big thing in Italy. So I'm delighted with the 2 Coppa wins. I just want to see us get that Champions League, because I think financially it could be massive. It could be massive for us, let's say, going forward.
Absolutely. Just, on the idea to rest players or something like that. I mean, Atalanta were never going to be, an easy game. I mean, they're a good side. They're not. They're a very capable side. They're battle hardened. They've played big European ties against big teams, and they've gotten results. They haven't, done it. They haven't won anything really, but they're after having a season to be proud of. Really, they've just plodded along and kept doing what they do, and they're in second position now. So and it's well deserved, and they came out at us and they were extremely physical. They pressed hard. One of the battles that stood out for me was Matthias de Ligt versus Duvan Zapata. And Zapata literally jumped all over de Ligt. And I thought de Ligt was excellent,
Likewise, I thought Zapata in the first 15-20 minutes was giving de Ligt quite a hard game. As I say, de Ligt get booked pretty early on as well, and I was worried that he may jump in and obviously get that second one. I think Zapata gave him a hell of a time, but de Ligt showed great maturity for his age, and he certainly came into the game and dominated his opponent yet again. For me, he's a future captain. Fantastic player.
Oh, absolutely. And I did hear a few people, commenting or tweeting early on in the game that de Ligt wasn't having his best game, and I suppose hindsight is always 2020. But I was looking at the whole thing and I was thinking, no, he's just had a serious battle on his hands. Duvan Zapata he's a physical.
He's an animal.
He's like a Didier Drogba style, player. He's just run through walls, and it was just a battle, and he got the better of him in the end, and that's what mattered.
The thing that annoys me most, and I promised myself I wouldn't say it, as I say, but I'm going to say it because I need to get it off my chest. The thing that annoys me most this year, especially with Juventus, is because the second half, the performance in the second half, why can't they play that all the time? Never mind it's a final, regardless of a final. If you're a Juventus player and you represent that jersey, that should be the level every single game. So then you ask yourself, is it complacency with the players that they just can't get up to that level if they've not got an objective, or maybe they've got an inferior opponent and it can only be done with bigger games? Or is it the manager not getting his message across to pick these players up? As I say, so that's where I struggle to understand what's going on, because I think it's very much 50-50. I think the players have been so complacent for so many years that they're serial winners. So unless they've got a bigger opponent in front of them, they just struggle to find that extra motivation. But also blame Pirlo that he can't seem to get these players fired up. That's where an Antonio Conte, a Rino Gattuso, for goodness sake, heaven forbid, Jose Mourinho, they pull something out of their players that bit extra that they can perform with that every single game, as I say. So that needs to be addressed, and that's why I'm seriously concerned for tomorrow, for what we do, not what other teams do. Us getting that win, that's where I look at first of all my team, and then what happens elsewhere. You can't control that, but I'm concerned tomorrow because I don't know what Juventus is going to turn up.
Yeah, well, that's the question. I mean, we've 2 Serie A victories in a row, and 3 in total, including the Coppa Italia final. Tomorrow would be, if we win, and we have to win, that would be 4 games in a row on the bounce. And we just off the top of my head, we haven't done that too often this year. So if you were to judge by the form book, we would be expecting a poor performance tomorrow. So, like, for me, what do Juve need to do? Like, I feel like they need to come out early, like really early, and just, you know, they need to score early. Basically, they need to.
I would agree.
Get moving from the off, and at least then that puts, you know, if they get ahead, if they have a good first half, 1 or 2 goals, that, like, you know, these aren't miracles I'm asking for here. Like, you know, this is Juventus playing Bologna, a couple of goals ahead by half time, and then all of a sudden, if the Napoli or Milan game isn't going, you know, for Napoli or Milan, things might, might kind of, get into their head. Like, so, I expect a result for Atalanta. I expect Napoli to win against Verona, even though Verona are well capable as well. I don't really think they've enough to play for. Atalanta. Like, what did you think of the Atalanta fans on Twitter earlier in the week? They were saying, or not earlier in the week, the morning after the Coppa Italia.
That's exactly why I cannot understand. If you're a Juventus fan, okay, there are Juve fans out there, and each to their own, and I appreciate everyone's. So I respect everybody's opinion and what they want to, who they want to support. But that's exactly why I don't support any Italian side in Europe if Juventus aren't playing, because the hatred for our club is incredible, and it's laughable actually, because it's just jealousy because we are who we are, as I say. But regardless of the fans doing their silly demonstrations and protests, let's not forget the financial implications for Atalanta finishing runners-up or even 4th. It's huge. It's absolutely massive, and it just means that Atalanta can continue to grow. So I hope and I believe that there'll be good intentions, and they'll want to get a positive result against Milan so they can solidify the 2nd place and obviously boost their finances.
Yeah, and look, it would be something that they do deserve, you know. And
of course.
The other thing then as well is if they lose, that's, you know, 2 losses on the bounce closing out the season. It's not really, it would leave a bit of a sour taste, and then you've got, it just doesn't really sum up the season well. They've had a great season. What else can we say? Gasperini is a massive Juventus fan as well. Former coach of the Primavera. And I think actually he was a player for Juve as well. He might have played only a couple of games, but he's a huge Juventus man as well. So I don't think, like, if anyone's going to do anyone favors, it could be Atalanta doing us a favor.
Yeah, I said this on our previous podcast. If we were going into this last day of the season, if Milan had beat Cagliari, I would have no expectation. I would have had no hope at all, because I still think Napoli, Verona have got nothing to play for. As I say, Napoli will be try to get the 3 points. Gattuso, we spoke about getting the players up for a big occasion. Gattuso have the boys fired up. They're in great form. They're scoring lots of goals. So I almost see Napoli beating Verona 100%. So with the Milan lifeline, obviously you've got that added hope, as I say. And to the greatest respect to Milan, as I say, my family are all Milan fans. I've got really good friends who are Milan fans, but I still don't think they've got enough to get all 3 points. And let's not forget, a draw might not be good enough for Milan, as I say. So Juventus need to win. Let's not forget, get the job done. I've got serious doubts if we'll get the job done just because of our inconsistency. And if we go behind in that game, that could be massive, as I say, because we all know what happens to Juventus when they go behind, and you've got a team who just park the bus almost, and we struggle big time. So, like you said, Colin, get out there, go for the neck, as I say, get an early goal, get in front, stay in front, and just hope that things go in our way, as I say. So, it's all we can do is just fingers crossed.
Yeah, I mean, like, what would I say? I'd expect. I mean, like Bologna. Like, I'm not sure what Bologna have to play for at this stage. Like, are they going to really sit back in a low block and try to do a tactical job on us?
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
it's a psychological game as well. Let's not forget if there will be communications with the obviously the benches, as I say. So the players will know what's going on in the other games, because it's just one of those things. You can see it on TV and you can see them discussing and talking amongst themselves. So if Juventus get in front early and potentially score 1 or 2 goals, that will creep into the mindset of the Milan and the Napoli players if they're still nothing each. And we all seen AC Milan they're an enigma, because one time they can be great from one day and then poor to the next. As I say, they beat Torino 7-0, and then they're expected to go out and get 3 points against Cagliari, and they choke, as I say. So I don't think, without Ibrahimovic as well, which is obviously a massive blow for them, I don't think they've got enough in the tank to beat Atalanta. I truly believe that Atalanta will get at least a point.
Yeah, I believe so as well. I mean, if Atalanta start the game like they did against us, no problems whatsoever. I mean, they were dominant. They looked, at one stage they seemed to be just cutting through us at will, and it's so physical up front then as well.
They're a very high tempo side, very kind of Premier League style, which is it's fantastic to watch.
It is fantastic to watch. Like, when you said you wouldn't support an Italian side in Europe, for me, they're the side that I would support. Like if I saw them, I'd wish them well. It's because I think they give a good representation of Italian football. Do you know what I mean? And they are entertaining to watch. And they're always going to be the underdog. Like they're never going to be an A-list team.
To Atalanta, we've heard all the numbers that are getting thrown about. The game for Atalanta tomorrow is a €10 million Euro game. Let's not forget. They're playing. Atalanta are playing for a prize tomorrow. So regardless of what the fans want them to do, these guys have got a career. These guys have got families. It's a job. They will be well told tomorrow to go out and get a result, because £10 million to Atalanta with the new stadiums that's getting built, that's a massive prize pot for them, and it's an improvement on last year as well. So why would they roll over? I don't understand why people think Atalanta are going to go out tomorrow and just let Milan do what they want because they want revenge in Juventus. I mean, what world do people live in? I just don't understand it. It's just maybe just me. I could be wrong, as I say, but these guys have got a job. They're high-profile celebrities. They're high-profile football players, and there's a lot of money at stake.
Yeah, I mean, like Gasperini has the whole team, that team set up to play football. Just one gear, just fucking go, and that's
absolutely
that's how they play. And I don't see that changing, in these circumstances at all. Like, so, I mean, what else would I say? I mean, just jumping back to the managerial merry-go-round conversation. I mean, Gattuso and Inzaghi. Okay, both of us have said no, we're not interested. But what about Gasperini? What would you think of Gasperini?
No, again, I might come across if being ageist, and I certainly don't mean to be like that, because I don't want to disrespect anyone, but I think I would like to see the coach, the new coach, whoever that may be. If it's Pirlo who stays, I'll get behind him 100%. As I say, but Allegri, you can obviously class as the same age as Gasperini, but his results are he's a proven winner. But I would just like to see someone different. I've for many probably months, I would say, I've been shouting for a European style manager. I think a European style approach may take us to that level that we need to go to in Europe. As I say, in Italy, obviously we can win with anyone. As I say, you and I could probably manage the team and get a Scudetto. As I say, so I would like to see, do you know what? At least try bring a European coach in, see if they can bring that extra dimension to our play. Because I think the old Italian mentality in Europe seems to always set in somehow. As I say, I see a lot of these European sides, and they play very different to us. As I say, but Gasperini's not, for me, he's not the answer. No,
he's not the answer. Okay, that's fair enough. For me, like, I'm not going to say he's the answer. I'm not going to say he's my preferred coach, but in a conversation that involves Inzaghi and Gattuso, I just don't know. I don't know how you could consider either of those and not consider Gasperini, because Gasperini has actually, in terms of results, he's done a lot better. He's been to a quarterfinal of the Champions League, in Lisbon, Portugal last August. Did very, very well, and So I mean, my preference is Zidane. I've always said it. That's for me, and I don't think I'm going to change it. CRMD is coming in here just to mention that 10 million could mean 4 to 5 top level signings at that level. And that might make all the difference. As you mentioned, they're building a new stadium as well, so all the funds are actually welcome.
You know what's going to happen, Colin, don't you, tomorrow? All the talk about Atalanta getting a result, and Juve are going to end up winning tomorrow. Milan are going to end up winning, and Napoli are going to end up getting beat. And I would be so happy. I'd be delighted to see De Laurentiis out of the Champions League, as I say. But I don't care what happens tomorrow, as I say. I just want us to go through. But I've made peace with it.
But the other thing is then as well, like, I mean, if Lazio qualify for the Champions League, do you really think that Gattuso would just up and lead,
Napoli, you mean champion? Oh yeah, of course, Napoli. Well, but you've hit the nail on the head. De Laurentiis he's a lunatic, as I say.
He's a lunatic.
It doesn't. I think you could win the Champions League and he would still sack you. He's crazy, and I actually take my hat off to Gattuso, especially with the kind of character Gattuso's got. I mean, let's not forget he's a firecracker himself. So listen, Gattuso. I mean, he's got experience. He's more experience than Pirlo, and he wouldn't be my first choice. But whoever the club appoint, I'm obviously going to get behind them 100%. But I think if we don't make Champions League football and we take on someone like Inzaghi or Gattuso or even Gasperini, I just don't see us going. I almost see as if we're staying at the same level, or even maybe a step back the way. It doesn't look as if we're going forward. But listen, I don't get paid to make the decisions. These guys get paid a hell of a lot of money to make executive decisions, and I'll get behind the club. But Zidane's still my ultimate favourite.
Yeah, for me, 100%. I can't say enough about it. I think everybody that knows me knows that I love Zidane. I always have. I don't subscribe to the kind of anti-Zidane sentiment that we do get amongst a lot of Juve fans of kind of my age group. A lot of people that are, in my view, are a little bit still upset about when he left. And look, I'm not going to get into that here, but he's my choice. I mean, what else would I say? I mean, we find out potentially Monday whether he's going to leave Real Madrid. What about Juventus backroom staff? I wanted to touch on that. We've kind of I think I've mentioned Tudor before, and the issues that have been. Like, we don't know, is this just gossip? But it's been kind of said around a lot, actually, that there's a split amongst the coaching group, not necessarily in the locker room, but you don't after big wins in the Coppa Italia I didn't see Pirlo hugging Tudor. Maybe I missed it. I could have been wrong. So if Pirlo stays, should he clear out the backroom staff as well? Should it be a complete revamp? I mean, I don't know. So what was I going to say? What about predictions? Have you got predictions? What way is it going to go? Are you going to have 3 TVs on, or like me?
Just before we get to that, actually, that is a very, very good point you brought up about Pirlo. And I actually said on a podcast earlier on the week on another podcast channel. Let's not forget Pirlo is new to this. He's obviously learning as he goes along. So you would think he would have a reliable team round about him, but his entourage, so to call it, has been thrown together as well. Because that looks as if the Pirlo appointment, Baronio and Tudor, that just looked as if it was just thrown together, like as someone's idea. Top class managers, or even managers like Gattuso, Gasperini, Zidane, all these names we've mentioned come with their own staff,
absolutely,
trainers,
absolutely,
nutritionists, obviously they're second in command. They come with their own entourage. So that's why I'm trying to give Pirlo a little slack as well, because if he's learning, he's going along, and he's looking to his left, and he's got Barono, and he's looking to his right, he's got Tudor, he's pretty much fucked either way. Pardon my French, as I say. So I think that needs to be addressed. If Pirlo stays, I can't see how we can go forward with Tudor or Baronio. Tudor was brought in to stiffen the back line, bring new ideas to the defence, and to be honest with you, I don't see any improvement. And thank goodness we've got a player like Matthias de Ligt, who's 21, 22, and he's carrying that defence.
Yeah.
So that's why I said weeks and weeks ago, de Ligt should be the captain next year. At that age, to not be suffocated with the pressure that's been put on him because of appointments and bad decisions from way above him, he's carrying that full defence, as I say. So you're 100% right. That full the full issue with the obviously the technical staff needs to be addressed 100%.
I agree. Just to kind of back up your point, there, like Zidane's fitness coach, when he joined Juventus, he had a fitness coach to get him up to match fitness. He did some separate training. That guy he's the fitness coach at Real Madrid now.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's
a fact. Like that relationship is built up for you're talking 25 years. Like so.
And again, you keep bringing up these great points. That's another thing. Fitness, injuries. Look at the amount of injuries we've had this year. Now, we thought that would all come to an end this year, and we were all blaming Allegri and his staff for all these muscular injuries. This year's been worse than previous years. So the coaches and the fitness staff, the fitness guys, it's been wrong for so many years now, and it just continues. Every year it doesn't get addressed. When you look at Real Madrid, now I don't follow Real Madrid games, but
I don't either.
Any games that I watch them, or any games that I check online to see the score, their starting 11 is pretty much the same 11 every single game. Modric, Kroos, Casemiro, Benzema. Obviously, Ramos has been injured, he's COVID. But what I'm trying to say is there's never any injury problems. So that's not Zidane. It's waving a magic wand and all of a sudden you've got no injury. He's got a good background staff that know what they're doing. We don't have that. I mean, and that's the thing that I was trying to point out in a previous podcast. Pirlo gets so much criticism, but what about the guys round about him? What are they doing?
Yeah.
What are they doing in training? That's why I'll be interested to see this documentary.
I agree with you.
Out.
I mean, all of those injury stats and even the types of injuries will be broken down. They'll be put onto a spreadsheet and be going, okay, well, look, we've got this many of this type of injury. That seems to be a pattern here, guys.
There's something
can't be all down to, and then it's down to the strength and conditioning experts in inverted commas. And that stuff does, the buck does stop with those guys. Like, so, I mean, what was I going to say there? I mean, you see, he has, like, as you mentioned, he's got a whole package. Allegri will have a whole package as well, and hopefully he'd be given more license to maybe have more influence in the transfer market. We mentioned on the last pod the idea that Paratici and Nedved could be gone. If Allegri's especially because Allegri is good mates with Agnelli, and he would. I'm sure if it came to it and there was a big appeal for him to come back, that he might have the leverage to do that. Make that request.
I think it needs to be freshened up from the top, Colin. I think from Agnelli down, there needs to be reappointments all the way down the ladder. Changing coach for me won't won't change the problem. As I say, the problem will just keep happening. If that roster doesn't get addressed, and massively, then we're going to have the same issues next season, regardless of who gets brought in. The manager's not the problem. It's been upper management from 2015. Let's not forget, that's 6 years ago. That roster has not been addressed properly. There's been additions made for the sake of just adding players to maybe weaken an opposition with Pjanic and Higuain. Those appointments didn't make sense. We had Morata. We didn't have to go and spend £90 million on Higuain. That was done to weaken our closest threat, as I say. So we almost broke their legs, so to speak. But just go back to the conditioning thing. We've spoken about Atalanta quite in fine detail. Atalanta play almost a European Premier League style of football where it's high intensity. The tempo's always up there.
1 and 2 touch football.
The first 11 never changes. Week in, week out, that's their first 11. So explain to me that. Juventus play such a sterile, kind of slow pace of football, but yet we've got one of the highest injuries in that league. So you can't even say they play at this high tempo, because 9 times out of 10 we've got massive possession stats, but it's not as if we're running the legs off the opposition. So that's something that's been done wrong on the training ground. The training, obviously the training methods are all wrong and have been for quite some time. So Pirlo, Klopp, Guardiola, Allegri, Zidane, it doesn't matter who it is, unless it's addressed properly from the top down. You're seeing the consequence and you're seeing the results, and everything's come. The cracks are now getting bigger.
Yeah, just one last topic I wanted to get your opinion on, really, and just to make a statement. I think Ronaldo's cars have arrived back in Portugal at this stage. I think it's safe to say they're tucked up cozy in his garage somewhere in there.
I tell you, that would be, if that's your only problem in life, to where you're going to transport your cars, I tell you, that must be great to have that as your only problem, you know.
Yeah. We had his agent come out and say categorically he won't be going back to Portugal. I think the president of Sporting Lisbon came out then, I think yesterday, I could be wrong, could be the day before, to say that he's not going to. He hopes he's going to come back to Lisbon, but it's not going to happen for another year at least. Now, do you believe that? Do you believe, because there's people out there that believe, it's very easy for Ronaldo to just drop tools and go, hold on a minute, guys,
no,
we're not in the Champions League. I'm out of here, gone, good luck, and that's it. And no matter what he says, like, he'll always get his way, And do you believe it's that easy for him?
No, I mean, with the greatest respect to Sporting Lisbon, who I've actually got quite a soft spot for Sporting Lisbon. With the greatest will in the world, I don't see Ronaldo dropping 80% of his wages to play with Sporting Lisbon. I think if Ronaldo goes, it'll be the likes of Manchester United, where there's obviously sentimental attachment for him. He's always said that he would like to go back. He's never had it. I was fortunate enough 2 years ago when we played Manchester United here at Old Trafford. When he obviously with Juventus, we won 1-0 when Dybala scored. The reception he got and the buzz that he got from every single fan in that stadium it was something to behold. So he's certainly held in the highest regard at Manchester United. So I think if he did leave, it would be someone like Manchester United who can financially obviously maintain his wage level, because it's all about money. I don't care what anyone says, and why shouldn't it be about the money? Why shouldn't it be? People forget football's a short career. Injuries, thank goodness Ronaldo's not had any major injuries in his career, and he's made a fantastic lifestyle out of it. But he earns his money. And if he's going to go, he'll be wanting to obviously have that last big wage, and I don't see the likes of Sporting Lisbon paying those wages. So just quickly, if we miss the Champions League, do you think Ronaldo is going to go? Yes. Okay, that's fair enough. I think, if you're mentioning Manchester United, they certainly have the money to do it. Whether they have the will or not,
we don't know. But look at the transfer market changes in an instant. Like, I mean, one story can drop once it could be next Monday, it could be, next week, all of a sudden. And, Jorge Mendes is working it out with Manchester United and the deal's done. And we find out that actually they'd been in his ear for a few months and it was done behind closed doors. That's the way it happens. Like, we're not in the know.
Yeah.
But you'd expect, for me, you would have expected to have heard links or, something, in the last few weeks, or maybe, I know we've heard like very loose links, but most of it has been like paper talk. There hasn't been, any serious journalists actually talking about a return to Manchester United. Real Madrid, Florentino Perez has come out and said absolutely no. Like, he's already said it. PSG apparently have an offer in for Messi already. Messi has left Barcelona and gone back to South America in preparation for the Copa America. So did Manchester City. Apparently, Manchester City are ready and waiting for Lionel Messi. So I'm kind of thinking, right?
Yeah, that's a very interesting, Colin. That's another fantastic point, because I think Messi this year will be the year that he goes to Manchester City. It almost happened last year, but I certainly see there being a strong possibility. The thing to keep an eye on about the whole Ronaldo thing, no, there's no speculation at all. Sorry, it's just speculation just now. But when Ronaldo joined Juventus, it happened like that. It was like a flash in the pan, and it was done. Manchester United fans, it's obviously openly known that they don't particularly like the owners, the Glaziers. The Glaziers aren't going anywhere. That's their toy, and they will keep Manchester United for a long time. So they might look at the likes of a potential signing of Ronaldo to maybe bridge the bridges almost. And as I say, so keep watch out for that, because I think there's a strong possibility that this could be true, and something's behind the scenes is going on.
Behind it. Maybe he might bring a sunbed to Manchester with him or something. And
he'll need one. He'll need one.
Yeah, just like train in a greenhouse or something, just to keep himself warm. Look,
with the money he's got, he can bring the sun with him, Colin. Jesus.
That's the thing. We all heard about these cars that were taken off. I didn't see any videos or photographs of where the cars ended up. That's the other thing. Like, so
as long as Ronaldo knows, we could have been watching the biggest Grand Theft Auto unveil, and no one's touched on it.
I'm expecting that next week at some stage, maybe on one of the big newspapers, to see, this is where the cars ended up. I'm surprised nobody has actually followed it, because it's funny, like, But anyway, look, for me, just summing up, I'm hoping like Juventus get to the Champions League tomorrow. We've got to win. I'm not one for predictions. I haven't done one in a while, and Juve have been going okay, so I'm not going to start now. Just a Juve win, and I think Atalanta will do the business for us as well. And that's sayonara to Milan. Good luck, and thanks very much. What do you think yourself?
Actually, sorry, Colin. Apologies, I never asked. I was getting so caught up with the Pirlo talk, as I say, I never answered one of your questions. Tomorrow, I've decided, just doing this podcast with yourself, that I'm not going to watch the game. I'm going to switch all devices off. I'm going to spend the day with my little one, and then after about 6 o'clock or whenever they get, obviously it's evening time. Oh, sorry, goodness, it's an evening time game, isn't it? Sorry, I'm getting my wires crossed. So I'll switch it off, open a nice can of beer, enjoy my beer, and then about 10:30, I'll switch my phone on and I'll see how we got on. Because, like I said, I've made peace with the whole thing. I've accepted for a long time now that we've made our own bed this season. It's time to sleep in it and see what happens. So fingers crossed. But if it happens, it happens.
Look, there could be a bit of celebration. It could be just, maybe not. May not only be one beer that's open tomorrow night.
That's what I was going to say. Just while I've got you on, if I turn my phone on and we're through, I would advise you to turn your phone off because you might get quite a lot of phone calls, drunken phone calls.
Oh, that's fine. We could even go live. You never know. But anyway, look, thanks very much for joining me on this pod, and I'm gonna, you're going to be back soon. I hope to God you will be, and
absolutely.
And we just pray to Jesus Juventus get through to the Champions League, and we have something to celebrate tomorrow night. So definitely. Just to thank everybody for supporting me, the couple of guys that came into the chat, and and people who are watching the videos all week. I'm very, very grateful. Thanks very much, and I'm going to keep this going, and we'll try and build something. So
good on you
again. Thanks very much, and I will see you again next time. Ciao, ragazzi.